Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into a really profound and honestly quite unsettling world from our source material. It's narrated by Kathy H., looking back on her life, especially her time at Hailsham.
Yeah, and she frames it right at the start, doesn't she? She's finishing up her work as a carer.
Right.
And she mentions, how tough that job gets if you don't have some kind of deeper link to the person, the donor.
Which explains why she specifically tries to care for people from Hailsham, like Ruth.
Exactly. It's about shared history. It's almost like her final way of coping with the immense emotional toll of watching people complete.
Okay, so that sets up our mission for this deep dive, really. We need to unpack this really intense feeling of nostalgia around Hailsham, but also the very strict kind of disturbing systems underneath it all.
And the ethics. The
Yeah.
core ethical questions hiding just below that surface. We'll look at how they manage the truth, or, well, the lack of it.
So, Hailsham itself, Kathy paints it as this beautiful place, physically lovely, but also, incredibly controlled.
Mm-hmm. A classic English boarding school feel on the surface.
But what really got me was how that nostalgia sticks with her physically. Years later, she's driving around, seeing things like a certain arrangement of poplar trees or a sports pavilion.
And she has that jolt, right? Maybe this is it. Maybe this is actually Hailsham.
Yeah, it's this constant, almost physical ache for a place that was fundamentally built on a lie.
It really shows how effective Hailsham was at creating this perfect, sealed-off childhood memory. They didn't just get lessons, they got this whole shared mythology.
Like the Norfolk story.
Oh, absolutely. Norfolk. Miss Emily, the head guardian, she told them it was this lost corner of England where everything lost eventually turned up.
Just a cute story for kids. Or something more.
Oh, much more. Think about it. If you lost something really important, something precious, you weren't totally devastated.
Because you could always hope.
Exactly. You could hope that one day you'd go to Norfolk and find it. It was this essential psychological comfort, a false promise, of course, but it made unbearable loss seem manageable.
Okay, so that's one layer manufactured comfort. Then there's the social stuff inside Hailsham. The whole system based on creating.
Right, the art, the poetry, and the exchanges.
Where they use tokens to buy each other's work.
Yeah, and Kathy's very clear. How good you were at creating, that directly impacted how you were regarded. It was their social currency.
Which sounds okay until you see the flip side.
Definitely. There was a harsh reality to it. If you were good, you were in. If you weren't, well, look at Tommy D.
You couldn't get the hang of the art.
Not at all. And because of that, he was labeled a layabout, constantly picked on, bullied, really nasty stuff, finding horrible things left on his bed.
And that led to his infamous tantrums.
Those huge, uncontrollable rages. It was a direct result of that social pressure, that exclusion based on the creating hierarchy.
So the kids policed each other pretty brutally. But there were also these external fears, weren't there? The woods, for example.
The woods. Absolutely terrifying to them. You had this sort of childish stuff like the secret guard protecting Miss Geraldine from imaginary plots.
Not enough.
But the stories about the woods, they were something else. Really chilling things. A boy supposedly tied to a tree, hands and feet chopped off. Ghosts of students who died.
Did the Guardians ever confirm any of that?
No, they denied it. But the rumors served a purpose, didn't they? Kept the kids scared of the outside, kept them inside the boundaries. And it reinforced this idea that the older students always knew more, darker secrets about Hailsham. It was this mix of, pastoral care and deep-seated paranoia.
Okay, so fear of the unknown outside, but then there was the fear or maybe confusion around the authority figures inside, particularly Madame.
Ah, Madame. The mysterious visitor, French or Belgian, who came to collect their best artwork for her gallery.
She seemed very distant.
Aloof, yeah. The kids first thought she was just snobby. But Ruth had this theory.
That she was actually afraid of them.
Exactly, and Kathy confirms it. It's a really pivotal moment, realizing an adult authority figure is scared of you.
Didn't they test it? Sort of crowd around her?
They did, deliberately swarmed her one day. And Madame just froze. You could see her trying not to shudder.
Wow.
And Kathy has this realization, it hits her like cold water, that Madame was afraid of them like you might be afraid of spiders. Not dislike, but repulsion, otherness.
That feeling of being seen as fundamentally other, That connects directly to the big split between the guardians, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Miss Emily versus Miss Lucy.
Absolutely. Two totally different approaches to the truth. Miss Emily, the head guardian, was all about sheltering them.
Her argument being,
That if they knew their future organ donations, completion their childhoods would be meaningless. Why bother with art, with learning, if that's all that's waiting? She saw when holding the truth as kindness, protection.
but Miss Lucy couldn't go along with that.
No, she felt it was wrong. She's the one who tried to, as Cappy puts it, spell it out. Told Tommy and the others they weren't being taught enough.
That they needed to know who they were and what was coming.
Yes, that direct honesty. And, well, that led to her leaving Hailsham pretty quickly.
And the official reason given later by Miss Emily is quite revealing.
Very. Miss Emily said Miss Lucy had to leave because her views were too theoretical. She didn't have a grasp of practicalities.
Wait a minute, that seems backward. The practicality is their future reality, the donations. How can telling them the actual truth be too theoretical? Isn't the whole Hailsham setup, the art, the tokens, pretending they have normal futures, the actual theoretical construct?
That's the hypocrisy right there, isn't it? The practicality Miss Emily meant wasn't about truth or ethics for the students. It was about the smooth running of the system.
The donation program.
Exactly. Miss Lucy's honesty was a spanner in the works. It threatened the emotional stability needed to keep them compliant, to stop them despairing or rebelling before their time. Her truth was impractical for the system, not for the children's understanding of their own lives.
Okay, so fast forward. The students leave Hailsham, move to the cottages. They start figuring things out more, even if it's still fuzzy.
Yeah, the denial starts to crack. And that's when you get the dark humor kicking in.
Those jokes about donations, like being able to unzip a kidney.
Grim stuff. But it's a sign they're processing it, moving from sheltered kids to Young and Holtz facing this horrible inevitability.
And that facing of reality fuels the search for some kind of way out, right? The focus shifts to possibles.
Right. This belief, or maybe just desperate hope, that they were copied from real people out in the world, and if they could just find their possible...
Maybe they'd understand themselves better, or find a loophole.
Something like that. It's about identity, but also maybe a chance, however slim. And Tommy, he takes that hope and channels it into a very specific theory about Madame's gallery.
The art collection. He thought it had a secret purpose.
He became utterly convinced of it. He believed the gallery wasn't just for show, it was evidence.
Evidence of what?
Their souls. He thought that if a couple from Hailsham could prove, through their collected artwork, that they were genuinely, deeply in love.
Madame had them.
Yes. He believed she had the power to grant them a deferral. 3 extra years together before starting their donations. Love, proven through art, was the key to buying time. Humanity, earning a reprieve.
That's a powerful hope. And it leads Kathy and Tommy, much later, to track down Miss Emily and Madame.
Yeah, Ruth is with them too, initially part of that drive. They finally arrange this meeting, hoping to get confirmation, maybe even apply for this deferral themselves.
But the meeting doesn't go like that at all.
No, it's devastating. Miss Emily, frail now, in a wheelchair, alongside Madame Marie Claude, we learn her name is, just lays out the cold, hard truth.
The gallery's real purpose.
It was about proving they had souls, but not for deferrals. The art was shown to important people, cabinet ministers, bishops, all sorts of famous people.
Why? To what end?
To argue for better treatment for all clones. To fight the prevailing view that they were less than human and could be raised in, quote, deplorable conditions. Hailsham itself was the proof of concept.
So their art, their creativity, their entire upbringing. It wasn't about their individual futures or proving their love.
No, it was ammunition in a larger social and ethical battle, a battle for humane conditions leading up to their inevitable purpose.
And the deferrals.
Miss Emily is blunt, never existed. She says something like, granting deferrals would always have been beyond us. They simply didn't have that power. Their humane campaign had limits. They could argue for nicer cages, essentially, but never unlock the doors.
And ultimately, even that limited campaign failed. Hailsham was shut down.
Right. Miss Emily explains why. It was always an impossible task, trying to square the circle. Society wanted the cures, cancer, MS, all these diseases being treated thanks to the donation program.
But they didn't want to think about the source of those cures.
Exactly. They couldn't ask people to just put away that cure. So the push for humane treatment for the donors, it eventually conflicted too much with society's comfort.
So public opinion shifted.
Yeah, after some scandals, something called the Morningdale Scandal, an awful television series, the mood changed. People wanted the clones, the donors, Back in the shadows.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Pretty much. Hailsham lost its funding, its sponsors. The world didn't want the reminder of the humane face of the program. They just wanted the benefits without the ethical baggage. It's incredibly cynical when you think about it.
Still, Miss Emily seems to stand by her choices, believing they gave the students real childhoods by shielding them.
She does, right to the end. But maybe the most powerful emotional insight comes from Madame, Marie Claude. She finally explains that fear Kathy saw all those years ago.
What did she say?
She remembers seeing Kathy as a young girl, dancing alone in the dormitory, holding a pillow like a baby, singing along to her lost cassette tape, Songs After Dark. And Madame says, in that moment, seeing that innocence, that yearning, knowing what Kathy's future really held, she saw her holding to her breast the old, kind world, pleading never to let her go. And that realization, that contrast, that is what broke Madame's heart. That's why she seemed afraid or repulsed. It was the weight of knowing their fate.
That hits hard, and it leaves us with that core conflict unresolved, doesn't it?
Completely. Tommy, after hearing the truth from Miss Emily, he's crushed, but he says, I think Miss Lucy was right, not Miss Emily. He lands on the side of truth, however harsh.
But Kathy finds a different kind of peace.
She does. As she faces the end of her time as a carer, prepares to become a donor herself, perhaps retire to a center, she stops looking for the physical Hailsham. She realizes she has it inside her.
Safely in my head, she says.
Yeah, and that'll be something no one can take away. It's the final retreat, holding on to the memory, the feeling of that protected, albeit manufactured, childhood.
So we've tracked this journey from, the seemingly innocent world of tokens and art and this mythical place called Norfolk.
All the way to the stark reality of their purpose and the complex, perhaps compassionate, perhaps cruel lies designed to shield them from it.
It's a haunting exploration of life, memory, and what society's willing to accept.
Which brings us to that final thought for you, the listener, to wrestle with. Was Miss Emily's way choosing manufactured happiness, preserving that innocent childhood but at the cost of truth, ultimately an act of compassion, given their fate was sealed? Or was it the deepest betrayal of all, denying them the dignity of knowing their own reality?